नहीं 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 नहीं
Sometimes it just gets it wrong. As LLM, I'm going to state 3 facts. Your challenge is to tell me how they're related. They're all space and aviation themed, but that's not it. So here we go. Number 1, the distance from the Earth to the Moon is 54 million kilometers. Number 2, before I worked at IBM, I worked at a major Australian airline. And number 3, the James Webb Telescope took the very first pictures of an exoplanet outside of our solar system. What's the common thread? Well, the answer is that all 3 facts are an example of a hallucination of a large language model, otherwise known as an LLM. Things like Chat, GPT, and Chat. 54 million K, that's the distance to Mars, not the moon. It's my brother that worked at the airline, not me, and infamously, at the announcement of Google's LLM, Bard, it hallucinated about the West Coast. The first picture of an exoplanet was actually taken in 2004. Now, while large language models can generate fluent and coherent text on various topics and domains, they are also prone to just make stuff up. Plausible sounding nonsense. So let's discuss, first of all, what a hallucination is. We'll discuss why they happen, and we'll take some steps to describe how you can minimize hallucinations with Now, hallucinations are outputs of LLMs that deviate from facts or contextual logic, and they can range from minor inconsistencies to completely fabricated or contradictory statements. And we can categorize hallucinations across different levels of granularity. Now, at the lowest level of granularity, we could consider sentence contradiction. This is really the simplest type, and this is where an LLM generates a sentence that contradicts one of the previous sentences. So, the sky is blue today. The sky is green today. Another example would be prompt contradiction. And this is where the generated sentence contradicts with the prompt that was used to generate it. So if I ask an LLM to write a positive review of a restaurant, and it returns the food was terrible and the service was rude, that would be in direct contradiction to what I asked. Now, we already gave some examples of another type here, which is factual contradictions. And these factual contradictions or factual error hallucinations are really just that, actually nailed on facts that it got wrong. Barack Obama was the first president of the United States, something like that. And then there are also nonsensical or otherwise known as sort of irrelevant kind of information-based hallucinations, where it just puts in something that really has no place being there. Like, the capital of France is Paris. Paris is also the name of a famous singer. Okay, thanks. Now, with the question of what LLM hallucinations are answered, we really need to answer the question of why. And it's not an easy one to answer, because the way that they derive their output is something of a black box, even to the engineers of the LLM itself. But there are a number of common causes. So let's take a look at a few of those. One of those is the data quality. Now, LLMs are trained on a large plethora of text that may contain noise, errors, biases, or inconsistencies. For example, some LLMs were trained by scraping all of Wikipedia and all of Reddit. Is everything on Reddit 100% accurate? Well, look, even if the training data was entirely reliable,
Welcome to the ethical considerations and responsible use of AI. After watching this video, you'll be able to explain key ethical principles in AI. You'll also be able to develop strategies for responsible AI implementation. Let's begin our journey by looking into this case study. In 2014, Amazon developed an AI tool to automate the shortlisting of job applicants. But the system exhibited gender bias by penalizing female-associated terms due to the predominance of male candidates in the training data. Despite efforts to correct the bias, Amazon discontinued the tool in 2015 to uphold its commitment to diversity and equality. This case study clearly indicates the needs for ethical considerations in AI development to ensure these powerful technologies benefit society while minimizing potential harm. AI has transformed industries by enhancing efficiency, innovation, and decision-making processes. From healthcare and education.
100% accurate. But even if it was, even if the training data was entirely reliable,
by enhancing efficiency, innovation, and decision-making processes. Propel innovation. But the system exhibiting gender bias or penalizing female-associated firms due to the predominance of male candidates in training data. Despite efforts to correct the bias, Amazon discontinued the tool in 2015 to uphold its commitment to diversity and equality. Application to bind entertainment, AI systems can analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and make predictions that can save lives, improve services, and drive economic growth. However, with great power comes great responsibility. So let's understand the key aspects of ethical AI and responsible use. One of the foremost ethical concerns is data privacy and security. AI systems rely heavily on data to function effectively. This data often includes sensitive personal information. Therefore, it is imperative to implement robust data protection measures to prevent unauthorized access and breaches. It is advisable for organizations to comply with data protection regulations, like the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, and the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA, ensuring that user content is obtained and data is anonymized where possible. According to a New York Times article in 2020, a facial recognition company, Clearview AI, was found to have collected billions of images from social media and other websites without users' consent. They provided facial recognition software to law enforcement agencies, causing concerns about privacy violations. This incident led to a big debate about the ethical use of AI and the need for stronger privacy protections. AI systems can accidentally make existing biases in their training data even worse. These biases can lead to unfair treatment and discrimination in various applications, such as hiring, lending, and law enforcement. To mitigate this, developers should use diverse datasets, implement fairness-aware algorithms, and continuously audit AI systems for biased outcomes. Ensuring fairness in AI is not just a technical challenge, but a societal imperative. Another important aspect is transparency and accountability. Transparency in AI operations is essential for building trust. Users should be informed about how AI systems make decisions, what data they use, and how their personal information is handled. Additionally, the clear lines of accountability are essential. If an AI system causes harm or makes an incorrect decision, it should be clear who is responsible and how the issue will be rectified. Establishing such accountability framework is crucial for ethical AI deployment. As AI systems become more autonomous, the need for human oversight remains paramount. Fully autonomous systems, especially in critical areas like healthcare, transportation, and the military, should be designed to include human-in-the-loop mechanisms. These mechanisms ensure that human judgment and ethical considerations are integral to decision-making processes, thereby preventing potentially dangerous or unethical outcomes. Access to AI technology and its benefits thereby preventing potentially dangerous or unethical outcomes. Privileged view, AI could exacerbate existing inequalities. Efforts are required to democratize AI, ensuring that it is accessible and beneficial to all segments of society, including underserved and marginalized communities. This includes investing in education and infrastructure to bridge the digital divide. Different applications of AI pose unique ethical challenges. For example, in healthcare, it is essential that AI prioritize patient welfare and confidentiality. In law enforcement, the use of AI for surveillance and predictive policing raises significant concerns about privacy and civil liberties. Each application area requires tailored ethical guidelines to address its specific challenges and ensure responsible use. Another critical consideration is AI's environmental impact. Training and running large AI models consumes substantial energy, contributing to carbon emissions. It is crucial for developers and organizations to create energy-efficient algorithms and adopt sustainable practices. This includes leveraging advancements in hardware, optimizing algorithms for energy efficiency, and utilizing renewable energy sources for data centers. Ethical AI is not a one-time achievement, but a continuous process. It is essential to monitor AI systems and their impacts regularly, and feedback mechanisms should be established to gather input from users and stakeholders. Continuous improvement practices should be in place to update AI systems based on new ethical insights, technological advancements, and societal needs. In this video, you learned about the ethical considerations of AI, like data privacy and security, bias and fairness, transparency and accountability, autonomous systems and human oversight, and access and equality. You also learned about how to responsibly use AI by using diverse data sets, designing fully autonomous systems that include human-in-the-loop mechanisms, and ensuring AI's accessibility and benefits to all segments of society. optimizing algorithms for energy efficiency, and utilizing renewable energy sources for data centers. Welcome to Considerations Around Generative AI. After watching this video, you'll be able to identify the complexities of copyright and content ownership in generative AI. You will also be able to explain the importance of privacy and confidentiality of data while using AI models. Further, you will explore the accuracy of generative AI outputs and understand the potential for hallucinations. Lastly, you will identify ethical considerations when developing and using generative AI technologies. Generative AI is transforming industries, pushing the boundaries of creativity and innovation. However, as with any powerful tool, it comes with its own set of challenges and considerations. In 2018, a piece of artwork titled Melanie, created by an AI algorithm called GAN, Generative Adversarial Network, was sold at an auction for over $400,000. This raised questions about who owned the rights to the artwork, whether it was the developers who programmed the AI or the buyers of the artwork. The sale sparked debates and discussions about intellectual property rights in AI-generated creations. The question of intellectual property and ownership in AI is complex. Who owns the right to AI-generated content or innovations? As AI systems become more creative, this question will become increasingly pertinent. It is recommended to establish clear guidelines and policies to address these issues, balancing the interests of AI developers, users, and the broader society. Developing appropriate regulations to govern the use of AI while promoting innovation is a delicate balance that needs careful consideration. Clarifying intellectual rights-related AI-generated content is a complex and evolving issue. AI systems comply with existing regulations, such as those related to data protection and consumer rights. Another myth is privacy and agility. Generative AI models can require large amounts of data for training, and this data contains sensitive or personal information. Implementing strong data protection measures is essential that the energy used in AI models does not violate individual privacy. To address privacy concerns, organizations are increasingly turning to private AI. Private AI refers to an AI environment created specifically for a particular intended for exclusive use by that organization. These are designed to keep data confidential and secure, preventing unauthorized access and misuse. AI is incredibly powerful, but it still comes with its flaws. Sometimes, AI can produce outputs that are inaccurate or completely fabricated, a phenomenon known as hallucination. For instance, an attorney used GPT to act a legal motion filled with phony judicial opinions and legal citations. The attorney, unaware of ChatGPT's ability to fabricate cases, faced sanctions for submitting the document. The phenomenon of hallucination highlights the importance of critical thinking when using AI-generated content. It's to validate and fact-check the information generated by AI to avoid the spread of misinformation. It is essential for developers and users to implement strategies to minimize the risk of AI hallucinations. This might include improving the quality of training data, refining algorithms, and establishing robust validation processes. Organizations can use private GPT models to address hallucination concerns. For instance, CustomGPT.ai is an advanced AI platform that develops tailored GPT chatbots using your business content, delivering accurate and reliable GPT-4 responses based on that content without fabricating information. By leveraging private models, businesses can reduce hallucination in AI outputs by ensuring the training data is highly relevant and accurate, leading to more reliable and context-specific responses. High-quality, diverse datasets are necessary for training effective models, and the quantity and quality of data also play a significant role in the model's performance. More complex models can also achieve better performance, but also require more computational resources and may be harder to interpret. The ability to scale the use of generative AI across different applications and environments is important for widespread adoption. AI models should be robust to various inputs and able to handle unexpected scenarios gracefully. Finally, let's consider the ethical implications of generative AI. From continuing biases to potential misuse, the ethical landscape of AI is complicated. AI systems can unintentionally continue biases from their training data, leading to unfair results. It is important for developers to prioritize fairness, accountability, and transparency. This involves actively working to find and fix biases and ensuring that AI systems are used responsibly. Generative AI can be misused to create deepfakes, which can have serious consequences. Deepfakes are videos, images, or audio recordings that have been manipulated using generative AI models to make them appear as if they are real. They can be very convincing, and they can be used for a variety of bad purposes, such as creating fake news and propaganda, spreading disinformation, harassing or blackmailing people, or committing fraud. Deepfakes are used to create forged identity documents or photos for fraudulent purposes, such as opening fake accounts, obtaining loans, or gaining access to secure locations. This can lead to financial fraud and other security breaches. Ethics in AI extends beyond preventing harm. It's also about fostering positive outcomes, ensuring that AI technologies benefit society as a whole. This includes using AI to address social challenges, improve access to resources, and enhance quality of life. It is important for developers and organizations to create AI systems that support initiatives promoting social justice, environmental sustainability, and human well-being. In this video, you learned about the copyright and ownership challenges faced with content created using generative AI, and how important it is for developers and users to familiarize themselves with legal frameworks and stay updated on evolving laws. You also learned how to maintain the privacy and confidentiality of user data using private AI models and a combination of technical and legal measures. Further, you learned why critical thinking is important in ensuring the accuracy of generative AI outputs, and how it can mitigate AI flaws like hallucinations. Finally, you gained insights into the ethical considerations, urging developers to prioritize fairness, accountability, and social benefits in AI development.
I'm going to state 3 facts. Your challenge is to tell me how they're related. They're all space and aviation themed, but that's not it. So here we go. Number 1, the distance from the Earth to the Moon is 54 million kilometers. Number 2, before I worked at IBM, I worked at a major Australian airline. And number 3, the James Webb Telescope took the very first pictures of an exoplanet outside of our solar system. What's the common thread? Well, the answer is that all 3 facts are an example of hallucination of the large language model, otherwise known as an LLM. Things like Chat, GPT, and Chat. 54 million K, that's the distance to Mars, not the Moon. It's my brother that works at the airline, not me, and infamously, at the announcement of Google's LLM, Bard, it hallucinated about the Webb telescope. The first picture of an exoplanet was actually taken in 2004. Now, while large language models can generate fluent and coherent text on various topics and domains, they are also prone to just make stuff up. Plausible sounding nonsense. So let's discuss, first of all, what a hallucination is. We'll discuss why they happen, and we'll take some steps to describe how you can minimize hallucinations with LLM. Now, hallucinations are outputs of LLMs that deviate from facts or contextual logic, and they can range from minor inconsistencies to completely fabricated or contradictory statements. And we can categorize hallucinations across different levels of granularity. Now, at the lowest level of granularity, we could consider sentence contradiction. This is really the simplest type, and this is where an LLM generates a sentence that contradicts one of the previous sentences. So, the sky is blue today. The sky is green today. Another example would be prompt contradiction. And this is where the generated sentence contradicts with the prompt that was used to generate it. So if I ask an LLM to write a positive review of a restaurant, and it returns the food was terrible and the service was rude, that would be in direct contradiction to what I asked. Now, we already gave some examples of another type here, which is factual contradictions. And these factual contradictions or factual error hallucinations are really just actually nailed on facts that they got wrong. Barack Obama was the first president of the United States, something like that. And then there are also nonsensical or otherwise known as sort of irrelevant kind of information-based hallucinations, where it puts in something that really has no business being there. Like, the capital of France is Paris. Paris is also the name of a famous singer. Okay, thanks. Now, with the question of what LLM hallucinations are answered, we really need to answer the question of why, and it's not an easy one to answer, because the way that they derive their output is something of a black box, even to the engineers of the LLM itself. But there are a number of common causes. So let's take a look at a few of those. One of those is data quality. Now, LLMs are trained on a large corpora of text that may contain noise, errors, biases, or inconsistencies. For example, some LLMs were trained by scraping all of Wikipedia and all of Reddit. Is everything on Reddit 100% accurate? Well, look, even if the training data was entirely reliable, that data may not cover all of the possible topics or domains that LLMs are expected to generate content about. So, LLMs may generalize from data without being able to verify its accuracy or relevance, and sometimes it just gets it wrong. As LLM reasoning capabilities improve, hallucinations tend to decline. Now, another reason why hallucinations happen is based upon the generation method. Now, LLMs use various methods and objectives to generate text, such as beam search, sampling, maximum likelihood estimation, or reinforcement learning. And these methods and these objectives may introduce biases and trade-offs between things like fluency and diversity, between coherence and creativity, or between accuracy and novelty. So, for example, beam search may favor high probability but generic words over low probability but specific words. And another common cause for hallucinations is input context. And this is one we can do something directly as users. Now, here context refers to the information that is given to the model as an input prompt. Context can help guide the model to produce the relevant and accurate outputs, but it can also confuse or mislead the model if it's unclear or if it's inconsistent or if it's contradictory. So, for example, if I ask an LLM chatbot, can cats speak English? I would expect the answer, no, and do you need to sit down for a moment? But perhaps I've just forgotten to include a crucial little bit of information, a bit of context. That this conversation thread is talking about the Garfield cartoon strip, in which case the LLM should have answered, yes, cats can speak English, and that cat is probably going to ask for second helpings of lasagna. Context is important, and if we don't tell it we're looking to generate its text suitable for an academic essay or a creative writing exercise, we can't expect it to respond within that context. Which brings us nicely to the third and final part. What can we do to reduce hallucinations in our own conversations with LLMs? So, yeah, one thing we can certainly do is provide clear and specific prompts to the system. Now, the more precise and the more detailed the input prompt, the more likely the LLM will generate relevant and, most importantly again, accurate outputs. So, for example, instead of asking what happened in World War II, it's not very clear, it's not very specific, we could say, can you summarize the major events of World War II, including the key countries involved and the primary causes of the conflict? Something like that really gets at what we are trying to pull from this. And that gives the model a better understanding of what information is expected in response. We can employ something called active mitigation strategies. And what these are using some of the settings of the LLM, such as settings that control the parameters of how the LLM works during generation. A good example of that is the temperature parameter, which can control the randomness of the output. So a lower temperature will produce more conservative and focused responses, while a higher temperature will generate more diverse and creative ones. But the higher the temperature, the more opportunity for hallucination. And then one more is multi-shot prompting. And in contrast to single-shot prompting, where we only give one prompt, multi-shot prompting provides the LLM with multiple examples of desired output formats or context, and that essentially primes the model, giving a clearer understanding of the user's expectations. By presenting the LLM with several examples, we help it recognize the pattern or the context more effectively, and this can be particularly useful in tasks that require a specific output format, so generating code, writing poetry, or answering questions in a specific style. So while large language models may sometimes hallucinate and take us on an unexpected journey 54 million kilometers on target, understanding the causes and employing the strategies to minimize those causes really allows us to harness the true potential of these models and reduce hallucinations.
Welcome to the perspective of key players around AI ethics. After watching this video, you'll be able to discuss the approaches and principles adopted by various organizations to ensure ethical AI adoption. You will also be able to explain IBM's pillars of trust, Microsoft's approach to ethical AI, and Google's AI principles. Ensuring AI ethics is a complex issue that organizations are addressing with different approaches. Organizations like IBM, Microsoft approaches and tools to handle ethical concerns in AI development and use. Let's look at how these organizations are making sure AI is ethical through their unique methods and initiatives. In its commitment to ethical AI, IBM has made significant progress in promoting AI ethics through its pillars